Yo, what is up guys, I'm here hitting up with a new video. I'm recording this video for a second time because on the first time I just was muted for 15 minutes. Classic M move. Here we are with the first CZN Chaos Zero Nightmare video. And hey, in case you're new, subscribe. I basically upload every single day. And as you guys know, I always bring you the best guides on this channel. I'm always go in depth with all my guides and stuff I'm cooking up with, so you know you are getting the best experience watching me. And my plan for this game as well is going completely free to play because there is no PvP, as at least that's what I know. There's no PvP in this game. I will be going completely free to play, and if I really enjoy this game, I might get the battle pass or something like that, right? But that's really about it. What are my plans? What are my expectations? I was looking into it. The cool thing about Pritwin here right now is they have a lot of stuff covered right now, so I was able to just get a first picture and looking at these units. What do I like, what I don't like. Now the first thing we need to talk about here is in terms of, if we look at the guide section, the gacha system. So the gacha system is a 50-50 and it has a weapon banner. Not a fan of it. I really don't like that at all. Just let's get this out of the way. I think it's so backwards nowadays. Just come on. I'm not a fan of this, but that's for another topic. We have a beginner banner, which is where you can do 50 pulls. Now the interesting part about this, it says upon 30 rescues, so 30 multis, you are guaranteed to get at least one 5-star. But also the cool thing about this is this banner does not end if you get a 5-star early. When you go into re-rolling for this game is you wanna get one of your desired 5 stars in your first 2 multis. Because if you get one of your desired units in your first 2 multis, you can at least guarantee yourself a second 5-star unit on the standard, on the beginner banner. Okay, so if you can get one in the first 2, you get guaranteed a second. If you are extremely lucky and you're doing your first 2 multis and you get 2 5-stars in your first 2 multis, hey, you're gonna get a third 5-star on that beginner banner as well, right? That's very lucky. But yeah, I think that should be the general strategy if you want to reroll. Try to get a 5-star in your first 2 and then you can guarantee a second. Now, what are the characters I'm looking forward to? The 5-stars is Caliper I'm interested in, Rin, and Renoa. Those are the 3 I'm interested in the most. The other ones don't interest me that much, but those are the 3 that piqued my interest because Rin and Renoa are single target DPS units and Caliper is a AoE type which scales differently. So I have something I can just pivot to if I need more AoE than I need a single target. And the cool thing is we have 10 5-stars in this game, and since I'm looking for 3 out of 10, I have a 30% chance to hit one of my desired 5-star units, which is pretty cool. There's also a radar banner, the weapon banner as I just told, and the radar banner has a different currency. And yeah, so now in terms of team building, what I'm looking forward to is the first unit I'm looking forward to is Rin. So Rin is a selfish unit that also always looks for herself. She always wants to use her cards, and she has a different specific mechanic, which is the Dark Cloud stance. Here, for example, if you use the drawing slash, which costs 0 mana, you know what, I call it mana because that's what I'm used when it comes to these resources. She costs 0 mana and you obtain the Dark Cloud stance. Okay, so what the Dark Cloud stance means is you get the effect to the Dark Cloud Blade art, and as you can see, there's the effect Dark Cloud Blade art effect. Cards damage increases by 50%. Okay, so basically every time she's in stance, you get that extra effect. For example, here that card haste deals 180 damage. Dark Cloud Blade effect, cards damage count increases by 1. You only get that when she's in stance. And haste effect is this card does not reduce the enemy's action. Apparently there's a timer that runs down and then the enemy moves. But yeah, so this is an interesting part. So basically all gas now breaks. Yeah, ego skill, I really am not the biggest fan. It costs like 6 mana and then it does 400 damage. This is good. But also vulnerable, which basically increases the damage. Which could potentially be strong, but I think there are other cards you can use. And then there's also a card which is called the Dark Cloud Force Art, which is, I think, key to her whole mechanic is for 1 turn preserve Dark Cloud stance. A Dark Cloud Blade Art effect for 1 turn increases attack card damage by 30%. And what does it mean? Effect triggered during end of turn while card is retained in hand. So this is the card you always want to use at the end of her cycling, because I'm not 100% sure if you can with her, if you use this specific skill and preserve the Dark Cloud stance, if you use now another skill of a different unit, that she now still has the Cloud stance activated, because it says once you use a different card you lose the stance, but maybe with the preserve you don't lose that stance. And at the bare minimum, if you use that card at the end, is that apparently when the next turn starts you don't lose the stance and you're still sticking with your stance, right? So this is good to throw off at the end, so you still have that card effect. Then another unit that I'm looking forward to use is Renoa. If we look at Renoa here for a second, she's all about generating I give you TLDR version to not make it as complicated. She's all about generating dirge bullets to your deck and to your hand, which is this one. Deals 160 damage when moved to the graveyard, perform extra attack on a random enemy and deal 80% damage. So you want to generate this card. Then she has a cool card, which is the Flower of Devour. This card, up to 2 cards in your hand, generate equivalent dirge bullets. So you're just all about generating this dirge bullet card and throwing it out. And then also she has this interesting part. If you have too many of these dirge bullet cards, what you can do is apply this card. This is 180% damage plus 80% discard all dirge bullet cards and apply 80% damage for each discarded card. So you can just make this very, very strong single target nuke if you have a lot of them. Now this is interesting because you can play it in 2 different ways. There's something which I noticed, it has actually very, very huge nuking potential, because it says discard all dirge bullet and apply 80% damage, right? Now what you can do with her is the moment you generate, I don't know how many of these dirge bullet cards at the end of the day, right? She has that ego skill, that ult, which is the Blackthorn. Draw all dirge bullets from draw pile and graveyard, deal 300% damage. If you generated enough and played long enough, you might have, when you play that card, maybe 20 of these dirge bullets in hand. Now, depending on the situation, you can now either start throwing out all these dirge bullet cards with spam, 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 or you can just now use the Resolute Assault card. You use that one, and since you have like 20 of these dirge bullet cards in hand, you now get that 80% multiplier times 20. So you have 1600% damage increase, and you nuke your opponent super hard, right? So this could be a very, very cool and interesting mechanic you can use for her. And then obviously you need one more support unit when it comes to your builds, right? And the one unit I looked at is Beryl. Beryl is a unit I'm looking forward to for my support in this team, because she has a very, very interesting card, and that is the Guilty Pleasure, draw 3 cards. Now, as you guys know, maybe in all card games, drawing cards is the most powerful ability, because drawing cards is never a bad thing. So having that helps a lot, because especially when you use like a Rin or a Renoa, where you wanna draw as much as possible, this helps a lot. And then she has some utility with like gaining shield stuff effect and increasing damage. That's for herself. And then also the cool thing is she has a card which is called the Heavy Weapon Specialist. And as soon as you get her one dupe, which is the Manifest Ego, the E1, reduce the cost of the Heavy Weapon Specialist card by 1. Now this card costs 1 and you can get it to 0 mana, okay? And when you play that card, it generates 2 more cards for you. And the interesting thing is it has the preserved effect, and the preserved effect triggers when you don't use the card turn 1, but as if you hold them for 1 turn long and don't play them immediately, now the preserved effect kicks in and just makes these cards stronger. Now, if you in a deck or team with like a Rin and a Renoa, where you don't even want to use your support cards except for the draw card at the very beginning, for example, you don't want to use her cards in the beginning anyways. She's a card, and she's a unit where you want to throw her cards in like turn 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to use it, when you don't have any better options, right? Because the effect is active, you can throw it out and get extra damage, which is pretty damn cool in my opinion, especially when you don't have the right cards for them, then you use her cards, right? So this is a cool mechanic, and she's more of a support unit because it's all about like drawing the cards. And this is what I'm looking forward to most, just drawing cards with her, right? Now, if I only get like one of my 2 Rin or Renoa, The other replacement I was looking at is, instead, let's say I only have Renoa, I was looking at Kazio as well. So the thing with Kazio is, if we look at this guy is here, it's all about just having that one simple goal. He has, for example, discarded the Joker card, select one card from your draw pile and to draw. So you can choose any card which is still in your deck and just get it out immediately to your hand, which is potentially very strong if you combine it with Barrel, for example. So you play the Joker, draw out the chocolate card to draw 3 more, right? So you can just get more cards fast in your hand, or you're looking for a specific card, or you get the ego card right off the get-go from your hand, or when you need it, right? Or whatever you're trying to achieve with strategy-wise, right? And then he has like special effects with his generated cards, and here you can draw more cards. You get an effect when you want to go ham on your damage. And then also he has another card, the shuffle one. Discard all cards in your hand, draw as many as the number discarded, which is also very cool, because I told you when you play Renoa, for example, it's all about generating dirt bullet cards, getting as many dirt bullet cards, draw them and stuff like that. And with Kazio's effect is, if you have all these dirt bullet cards and you don't have the ego card on your hand, you just throw them all into the graveyard and then draw all the cards again, right? So you're just getting all these cards, right? And then just play and generate more. And then on the last step is where you just go into your Renoa, for example, here, right? And then you play the ego skill, and then with the ego skill you're playing out, you're now getting all the dirt bullets together with the resolute assault, and then do one big damage, or you just spam the bullets like one or different way, right? So there are different ways and layers you can actually structure it. I think this is pretty damn cool. So if I only have one 5-star, I probably try, my goal is probably to find Renoa in my first 2 multis, because then I can play this right off the get-go, this team building in a sense. And then obviously if I'm lucky, I get Rin and Calipe or something like that, depending, right? I can get that. But yeah, this is just giving you my first initial impression of this game, or what my plan is. Maybe you like the idea. This is what I will go for. I also plan on streaming this game on Wednesday. I will be live on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. We'll be multi-streaming this game. I will check out everything, and then I will make a day 1 guide for you as well, from the stuff I learned, giving you my top best tips and tricks for this game, what you can do and stuff like that when I'm figuring things out and get my hands on this game. And yeah, this is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you want to see next, what I should cover. Let me know what you're very interested in. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it, and see you with the next one. Deuces.